It's the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion. This is for Friday, the 5th of July. I'm Michael Groff. Heading into this holiday weekend, the big story around here will be the heat. Temperatures not only above average, but approaching record territory at times. What about monsoon moisture, though, and chances of rain? When will that come back into the forecast? And, of course, the question that is on many of your minds, I'm sure, is when can we get a reprieve from this truly excessive heat? I know it's always hot in the summer in Phoenix, but when can we get a break from these 110-degree temperatures? Is it going to be just like last July? Well, we'll talk about that and everything else in just a moment. But before we do, it is Friday. That means it's Photo Friday here. That's where we take a look at some of the photos and or videos that you guys have submitted. First up, David Parnell. This is from a flight from Washington, D.C. back here to the valley. Looking out that window. Great shots there. Then I guess he has some leftover photos from sunsets of from last September, so he sent those in to us as well. Sometimes when there's not a lot of photos to capture around here right now, it's always good to go back there. This is from Jeff, looking at the Gila River. Classic Arizona picture right there. Great shot. Then we step outside of Arizona for a moment here. This is from Buck up in Helena, Montana. Got a rainbow going on up there. They've had some very interesting weather up across the northern Rockies. Remember earlier, it was just a few weeks ago, they were having snow in mid-June across parts of Montana. So you get wild weather up there this time of year, that's for sure. And then, of course, these are from Joe down there in Santan as some storms were approaching. This is a few days back, and we'd love to see some more opportunities for storm photos like those. Hopefully we can get that sometime in the near future. Speaking of, Ryan Seek has his monsoon time-lapse photography, of course, down to the south and east of the valley. You'll find these. He's out there always trying to find, if there's even a thunderstorm someplace across the state, he'll try to find it and capture it in these time-lapse videos that he does. So we love to see this stuff. And there you can see a storm developing, going on, and just beautiful stuff. All right. So if you guys want to submit your photos or videos here for Photo Friday, you can do so. groffshow@gmail.com is my email address. That is groffshow@gmail.com for Photo Friday. And no, of course, it doesn't have to be just from here in Arizona. It can be outside of the state. We've had international. Why not? Sometimes we even have pictures of cats and dogs and all sorts of other stuff here, too. Why not? That's why we do it, Photo Friday. All right, I guess now we can get back to the almanac from yesterday. Do we have to? Can we just look at more photos? Do we have to do this part? Oh, boy. 113 degrees was the afternoon high. 91, another record warm, low temperature for the 4th of July. 107 and 84 are the averages for this time of year. And, of course, 118 was the record high temperature last set on July 4th back in 1989. As we take a look outside right now here at 10:40 a.m., there are some high clouds out there right now. That's not really helping out much with lowering the heat, though. Look at that, 106 degrees. 106 degrees already. That was actually the 10 o'clock temperature when I was putting the video together. Dew point at 60, humidity 22%, light wind barometer falling. Upper level weather pattern across the nation. Why is it so darn hot? How about a 594 heat ridge coming in here off the East Pacific, building in across California, nosing into western Arizona. Upper heights continue to climb, and actually in the center of that ridge, upper heights are around 597 decameters. And you can see underneath that, we are just hot and dry, subsidence keeping us dry. Now, yesterday, while the one and only Michelle and I were out driving around, we saw a little storm, a little cell, just a brief, isolated cell that popped up near Black Canyon City. And we can't completely rule out one or two of these little pop-up cells that just happen randomly. But they're so isolated and so hard to predict that the chance that anybody actually runs into one of those is maybe 1 or 2%. So I would say we're not actually putting any rain chances into the forecast, but don't be surprised if you don't bump into maybe a stray storm someplace. All right, the watch warning map. Yes, the heat, the big story for the Gulf Coast and up into the middle Atlantic states, all the way up from, basically from New Orleans to Biloxi, Panama City, across much of Florida, all the way up toward Baltimore, Philadelphia. Out here in the west, excessive heat, of course, for Arizona, much of our state in these excessive heat warnings. For Phoenix, these go until 8 p.m. next Tuesday, and I'm sure the National Weather Service is considering extending that heat warning because there's no sign that it will abate on Wednesday or Thursday of next week either. And those heat warnings and heat watches go all the way up into the Pacific Northwest, through the valleys of California, the Great Basin. So places like Reno, Sacramento, Redding, Red Bluff, Portland, Medford, Seattle, Spokane, Boise, Idaho. Next week, even across places like Boise, they could see high temperatures approaching 110 degrees. Just unbelievable heat all the way up in the Pacific Northwest. So if you think it's hot here, it's all across the western states. Convective outlook. We've got that risk of severe storms east of the state, parts of New Mexico, West Texas, eastern Montana, and of course the central and eastern Great Lakes states nosing all the way down into parts of the southeast U.S. The southeastern corner of Arizona in the green, thunderstorms possible, but we do not anticipate any severe weather down there. And I would say even thunderstorm chances, as I mentioned a moment ago, extremely small, just about anywhere. The tropics, well, the Atlantic Basin is very quiet, save for we still have Hurricane Beryl. This is moving across the Yucatan. This is having interaction with land. It'll weaken to a tropical storm. And there it is, the Hurricane Center advisory, top winds at 85. But you can see that turn more toward the north and west. And we've seen a continuation of this forecast shift to the right, further north and northeast. And it now appears that the track of this, the landfall, will be somewhere between Brownsville and Corpus Christi on the Texas coast as we go into late Sunday and Monday. And then it'll turn more north and eventually northeast and get caught up in the westerlies. But we do expect this maybe to make landfall as a minimal Category 1, somewhere 75 to 85 mile an hour max sustained winds. Obviously, very heavy rain will be an issue with that as it tracks into Texas. Here's the satellite presentation. You can see, obviously, it's weakened as it's had interaction with land, but this is still a formidable storm system. Yes, it'll come out into the Gulf as a tropical storm. We do expect at least some strengthening to occur. Intensity forecasts with these hurricanes always troublesome, right? Because more than likely, when it makes landfall on the Texas coast, it will be a Category 1. But could it have a surge in strength there just before it makes landfall, as we have seen with other storms, maybe bump up to a low-end Category 2? I suppose that is possible, and we're going to keep our eye on that going forward. And here's the modeling on Beryl. And again, you can see that gradual shift to the right on the tropical set here. And again, this could, maybe this makes landfall up around Corpus Christi. But right now, we're going with the official track from the Hurricane Center. But again, a continued shift to the right and further to the north and east is possible with future forecast. And that's why you have to keep an eye on these things. Here's the precipitation outlook. This is valid through Friday morning of next week. Rain amounts in Phoenix, nothing. Statewide, could be a little bit across the rim country, east central parts of the state, southeast Arizona, the White Mountains, the southeastern corner of the state. Even there, rain amounts generally under 1/4 of an inch. An isolated spot obviously could see more than that. Let's get into the details of this forecast right now. To do that, we explore the models. Here we go, the GFS, the 12Z run. This is valid 5 o'clock this afternoon. Big ridge building in from the west, dry northwesterly flow. Underneath that, we've got a few clouds around right now. So we'll call it partly cloudy for the rest of the morning, turning mostly sunny this afternoon. High temperatures should top out anywhere from 111 to 116. Ugh. Now, like yesterday, could a stray thunderstorm pop up someplace here over south central Arizona? Theoretically, yes. But practically speaking, no. And for the most part, any storm activity would be found across the far southeastern corner of the state today. And even at that, the chances are very low. Tonight, mostly clear sky, overnight lows, low 80s to low 90s. Tomorrow, sunny, very hot. Highs 112 to 116. And my friends, that is a copy-paste forecast for Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. This ridge is going to very, very, very slowly nudge eastward and should take a position somewhere across Nevada, maybe western Utah by the middle part of next week. And as that happens, the flow aloft will switch from northwest to north to northeasterly and eventually more easterly. And we do expect at least some moisture to start to come back into the state by the middle part of next week, sometime Wednesday, Thursday. And so widely scattered late afternoon and evening showers and storms should return to the eastern mountains, maybe as far west as parts of Gila County. And I guess by next Thursday, we can't even completely rule out a storm infringing upon the eastern parts of Greater Phoenix. But that's still a small chance, and there's a lot that's still working against us because this ridge is just going to be very stubborn to move east, and the air aloft is still rather warm. It's going to take some time to get the atmosphere juiced up again for showers and storms, for that moisture to really start to come back in and saturate through the column, the atmospheric column, especially here in the lower levels. So we're gonna take some time to get those rain chances back into the forecast, but we do expect thunderstorm activity to return at least over parts of the state by the latter part of next week. So there is hope we could see some monsoon activity out there eventually. This is a week from today, Friday, the 12th. And again, that ridge is sitting to the north of us. That is not a bad position for it to be in. Now, of course, that's going to still result in very hot temperatures over the entire western United States. But here, the flow aloft may start to turn more easterly, so better chances of storms start to come into the fold. Going out 10 days, this is Sunday the 14th, and this is actually pretty good news if this verifies. The ridge is now sitting across Colorado, and the flow aloft more squarely out of the east-southeast, and we could even see some disturbances and some moisture rotating in around that ridge here into the southwest for better coverage of afternoon and evening showers and storms, a more typical monsoon forecast. That would be great news. And that ridge is still strong, so temperatures would be at or maybe even still above normal, but they would come down somewhat, and depending on cloud cover and of moisture availability, temperatures may actually dip down closer to average or maybe below average, really, if we could get a serious push of moisture in here. I guess time will tell on that. But at this point, for the next 10 days, we expect temperatures to remain above average, unfortunately. Looking at rainfall for Phoenix off the GFS ensemble, I guess this is the glass half full aspect of the forecast, because by about 9 or 10 days, most of these members start to reintroduce precipitation chances. The ensemble mean is coming up toward a half an inch. That's the glass half full approach. Glass half empty is the European ensemble, which shows very limited precipitation amounts. In fact, the ensemble mean is under 1/10 of an inch, and it shows very little chance that we could see any precipitation over the next 10 days. Then I didn't even want to show this, but it's, we have to, unfortunately. Temperatures off the national blend of models, 115 or higher for the next, all the way through next Friday. And then even after that, temps are still going to remain above 110. So absolutely ridiculously hot weather to continue. Above average temperatures, again, through at least 10, 11 days out. And overnight lows mostly in the 90s in the mid-city, the urban core. And even away from the urban core, it doesn't cool off that dramatically. We're generally in the mid-80s or so. All right, that is going to do it for the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion for today. My next video is due back here on Monday morning, but of course, updates before that if necessary. Should you happen to enjoy these videos, and of course you do, then be sure to subscribe, like, share, click that notification bell, leave those comments, questions, and suggestions. And if you really like what we do here, then click that thanks icon below the video here on YouTube and make those monetary contributions, or you can donate directly to me via PayPal. groffshow@gmail.com is the PayPal address. It's GROFF show@gmail.com for PayPal. The executive producer of the Phoenix, Arizona Weather Discussion is my one and only, the sweetest of all time, the Asian sensation and proprietor of sweetchildaz.com.org and the Facebook page of the same name, Sweet Child Arizona. Talking about my Michelle. Check her out. Check out everything Michelle related down in the description below. And our streaming station is also available 24/7, 365. It is called KMGX. What in the world do we do there? Well, we play a ton of music and have a lot of fun with that. And for your holiday weekend, well, today we're playing all 90s all day, all 90s music all day. So you can geek out with all your favorite tunes of the 90s from all kinds of genres. So I want you to give that a listen also. All right. Otherwise, thank you guys so much for watching, all of your continued support. It is so greatly appreciated. We could not do these videos without you. Please, please be safe out there. Stay cool, stay hydrated. Watch your kids, watch each other. Watch your wife, watch your children, watch whatever around the pool. Be safe. I'm just telling you, be safe. It's, this is that very awful time of the year, summer and drownings. And of course, as I mentioned earlier this week, people on the trails, bring lots of water with you. In fact, just stay off. I know people want to flex and they want to be manly men and macho and I'm cool and look at me. I'm out in 115 degrees. Look at me. Aunt Susie in Michigan, I can hike in 114. That makes me awesome. It doesn't. It makes you dumb. So don't do it because you're putting your life in jeopardy. You're putting others' lives in jeopardy, rescue workers and all those people that have to come and get you off the mountains. Stop doing that. The trails, if you want to hit the trail, do it at 5 o'clock in the morning. Even then, bring lots of water with you because it's still 90 degrees at 5 o'clock in the morning. I know I've made lots of controversial statements about hiking in 115. I don't like camping and people blowing off their appendages with fireworks. I know that makes me like crazy controversial, but we want you here. We need all the viewers we can get, and that's why we don't want you doing things that are crazy and unsafe. And I just think camping is, I don't know. I'm not a big camping guy. At least not camping in a cabin or in a motorhome or something. That's one thing. In a tent, laying on dirt. It's not for me. All right, so that's it for the controversial weather videos for this week. We'll see you back here next week. You guys be safe, stay cool, stay hydrated, have yourselves a great Friday and a wonderful weekend.